Hello, hello, and welcome to another riveting episode of the extended Lume plotters who shrunk again into
Yes.
a duo.
Mahmoud will be hearing this, but he said, yes, I will join you guys. And then he did not show up this morning. So,
Such a disappointment.
yes, I think he forgot. Let him be. So he's probably in his high-powered attorney meetings and whatever he does. He's both a lawyer and an architect, which is a very interesting combination.
Multifaceted, extremely well educated.
You know
person.
who else was an architect, wasn't he? Wasn't Gerald Gent an architect? Or no? There was some other watch designer who was an architect. Yes.
Who knows? Who knows? Hey, I have industry news that I read this morning. Do you want to know? It's some Swiss news. So it's in Hotech is a company in Switzerland, in Le Locle, and they have made precision stuff. Let me see. Maybe I can actually share that with you so you can see that as well. This is the company. Screen. Yes.
In the meantime, I looked up who was the architect. Max Bill was the architect who designed the Max Bill.
Share.
The Junghans.
Yo. So.
All right. In Hotech. Which reminds me of that movie, The Mummy, from the early 2000s. And I think the bad guy's name was Imhotep.
Imhotep. Okay. So, and this is, I'm translating it to English for you, this website, because I don't think it has a English speaking website somewhere. That's the funny thing. It doesn't have a switch to, here, about, know-how, but it's still, there we go. Or is this no, this is the translation already.
Is there a point to this story?
Yes, the point is, because this company makes absolutely fantastic high precision shit. And they have created some stuff here. If you look at their machine park, they have these 5-axis, 3-axis super stuff. They have lasers, femto lasers, fathom lasers, I don't know what. And they're doing a lot of super complicated parts. They have some of this whole new nano lasers here, femto and nano lasers, 2D, 3D, decoration machines. Now, listen to this. This is why it's juicy.
Hold on. I will talk about this femto laser for a second. Did you know the femto lasers are the one they're using for the eye surgeries? The what's it called? So laser. And you know what else is using the femto laser?
The palm dial of my wife.
No, I was going to go with the Seamaster.
Yes.
The Omega Seamaster 300 is using a femto laser.
And the laser that made these, the dials, the celebration dials and all of it. No, it's not celebration dials.
The celebration didn't have any relief.
The ones with the fluted dial, it's called. And the palm dial was made also with lasers.
With a in-Hotech laser?
I don't know that. But the thing is that this company has also absolutely, and you cannot, unfortunately, these images are so small that you can't really see much, but you cannot identify the parts really, right? But they are producing for a company that just bought them.
Okay.
AP.
Okay.
So,
and speaking of AP.
And I just wanted to say that because decoration machine, right? Thanks to our CNC and traditional machinery and so on, blah, 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 blah. These guys can make watch decoration that looks hand-finished.
But it isn't. Yes. But, they're not the only ones that have done this. We said this with JLC. My Reverso was the last one of the hand-finished hand-finished variety, because afterwards they started doing also laser decoration. So
it is tough at the moment, but they say that this company was acquired by AP to encourage further vertical integration, to have this kind of technology in-house, but also to protect these suppliers from possible disaster with the downturn thanks to tariffs and other industry downturn in general. So it could be that this is actually something that makes a lot of sense for AP to move this knowledge in-house and produced
I
there.
don't
So
know.
let's see. I mean, it shows that there is movement in the Swiss watch industry, that there is certain uneasy feeling about how it's going, so that they feel they need to protect their production capabilities. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing I really wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to have your opinion, and it doesn't happen often that I really want your opinion, but this
Yes.
but this one is one of these
Moser.
cases. There is this new Moser. I don't know if I'm on the right website here, which is a cooperation with a Japanese guy, I think, Aziko. Why don't I see it here? Maybe I have to go to hodinki.com/whatever. And they had this new Moser designed watch, Moser, and it's a corporation. Let me see if I find it here. And it looked so amazing, but the price was so crazy. And that was something I couldn't believe. And then we have to talk about this. Where do we have this Moser?
In the meantime, while you look at this, there you passed 2 new watches.
Yeah, I know.
Guess who made another new watch? Omega.
Yeah. I mean,
Another
look,
new dial color.
It was about a few weeks, right, that we didn't have a new.
Yeah. It was
watch.
almost a few weeks from the orange Seamaster 300. Now we have a turquoise Aquaterra.
Absolutely needs to happen. I mean,
absolutely.
that is.
I mean, once again, this is how they're doing it. We know, who cares?
Azuki. Yes, now I finally found it. Moser and Azuki. It's an anime brand.
I've never heard of it.
An anime brand who actually created that. Yeah, so that is, of course, quite interesting. Moser and Azuki, and they have created a beautiful watch, I think, that looks absolutely wonderful. They have made 5, I think, piece uniques or 3 piece uniques with the tourbillon movement in it here. But if you see the Pioneer center seconds, and they have a few different variants of it, it is incredible. I mean, if you look at these, the dial here, look
Is
at
it
that.
orange dial?
This is orange. It's a fire. It's called fire. So it's
I
a
don't
bit
like it.
yellow in the middle and goes into reddish outside. So it has this orange tones.
This reminds
I love
me
it.
of the Glassute I had for a brief
Yes,
second.
exactly. And it's a bit like that. But
excuse me.
this is the thing. I mean, with all my love for Moser, right?
How much money? How much money?
It's a Pioneer, yeah. So it has the very basic movement they have, the HMC 200, which is not a bad movement, but it is also machine finished. It's nothing handmade in it. So the normal 70 hours power reserve, blah 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 blah. So it's all fine, but it's still a normal Pioneer.
Okay.
In titanium.
Okay, with the fancy dial.
Yeah, with a fancy dial. And they charge $25,000 for it.
Well, they charge that. That doesn't mean they're getting that.
So they have 4 different versions.
Remember the time Hodinki charged $2,200 for a carbon Unimatic, and it ended up all at Joma's shop.
Yes, true. But
soon, coming to Joma's shop, there will be 4-piece uniques.
And this is where I feel, I don't know. I mean, with all my love for Moser, and I really love this company. I think they're fantastic, and I'm really sympathetic and really in love with the company, the leadership. They're really lovely people. But this is a watch where I think, it's a bit of a diver watch. It has this 60-minute, unidirectional dial bezel. It has nice dials. It has, again, or I don't know if we should say it again.
But did the regular
Moser
one
dial.
have this?
It has the Moser dial on it. Logo on it. The Moser logo again. And it looks a bit like that it can't really decide what it wants to be, right? It wants to be...
But the Pioneer center seconds didn't have a bezel on it. A rotating bezel, did it? No.
Good question. I don't know.
I don't think so, which then would mean that there's more to this than just a regular rebadge. And if that's the case, because that's the center seconds right there. No?
True, yeah, it didn't.
So there's no bezel. So they put a dive bezel on it, which then means they have to have new tooling. If you have new tooling and you make 4 of them, it's going to be extremely expensive. So I'm guessing they have to recover that cost somehow.
Sure, but it's a limited edition.
Well, show me one watch they have with a rotating bezel. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I don't think they have one anymore. Did they have one? Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. But my point here is with this one, also the different hands. I think these hands I've seen before. And
Those hands are from the freaking
Streamliner, no?
Streamliner, yes, exactly.
So the hands on the stream, it's.
I know what this looks like. I know exactly what this looks like. It is a blatant knockoff of the Christopher Ward Trident.
Oh no!
Look! Open up the Christopher Ward Trident and tell me that's not the same. Whatever this new put in Trident.
This one here?
Trident. No, that's the 12. Trident.
Yeah, look at
Trident.
That. Yes, Trident.
No, it's a spinning look. Trident, the first one. Look at the bezel and tell me. Not find the plain one to the right. To the right. Pro 300.
Are these all Tridents?
Yeah, these are all Tridents. It's a range.
Okay.
But just click on the Pro 300, not the GMT, that one.
Okay.
And then go back to the other one. No, go back to the, what's it called?
The Moser. Yeah.
The Moser. Tell me this doesn't look almost...
There's a bit of, It is a bit of similarity.
Find it on a bracelet. Yeah? Find it on a bracelet and see what bracelet it comes with.
Yeah.
It's the same exact bracelet.
Wait,
Here, go up to the top and then you can choose. Change
size, color, strap. Okay. 42 millimeters and barder bracelet.
Boom.
Barder bracelet. Yeah.
Tell me that doesn't look...
It does look at have tendencies of looking similar. H-link bracelet. Nah, it's actually more oyster.
It is, but there's a different one.
But anyway. But my point was, I think this is ridiculous. The price is way too high. I mean, the rent is too damn high. This is it. I think it's just a fancy dial, and this is it's a good watch. It's a 3-hand watch, but with a normal standard movement for Moser consideration, the entry-level Moser movement. But just a fancy dial making it double the price of a normal Moser. That's much. That's much money.
That's much.
That's much money.
Yeah, this is not exactly. It's interesting.
It's much money.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I thought first and foremost we need to do our wristwatch checks. We'll do that.
Okay.
But I thought for sure you were going to talk about this manufacturing company and how they were bought by AP and transition this into your AP.
Yes, I could.
And you didn't.
No.
Which seems like a logical step.
I'm embarrassed.
You should be. Now tell us about your AP. What are you wearing today?
So I am wearing my...
brand new to you.
Brand new. Here. Big Beast. So that's the AP 26238.00.2000.st, whatever. So it comes with a quick exchange bracelet. So I have this blue rubber, of course, that comes with it. I have the light blue rubber that I bought for a ridiculous price at the AP boutique for just 2 pieces of rubber. And of course, also the steel bracelet comes with it. It is the current model. So it has, as I mentioned, of course, the quick release. It has the transparent case back and the in-house flyback chronograph movement with 70 hours of power reserve. Which also leads me to the next thing. So I was looking at the minute counter. Obviously, that's where the magic happens. Everybody who has some of the first batches of this chronograph movement from AP, the in-house movement, had issues. I have that too. The issue is usually that the minute subdial continues to run if the chronograph is stopped.
Okay.
Which is obviously not ideal. Mm-hmm. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. So, and that then is, and in the meantime, after a lot of people have sent in their watch multiple times, they figured out what it is, what's wrong with the watch. And it's apparently a clutch, a tiny clutch that has to be exchanged. It's just a single part. It's easy to do. They know how to do it. They now fix it relatively fast. So
But it's supposed to go to Switzerland.
No, they can do it locally even. So it's super cool. But they need to get the parts. So my parts are already ordered. So that's cool. I don't know if you can see this here. So I'm not so sure if it's visible, but my minute hand or my minute counter resets to 0 when I press this reset button. Check.
And then it keeps running.
And no, it doesn't keep running. But after a couple of minutes, it will move to the 1 minute. So it's slightly crooked.
Okay.
And then it stays there. But this is apparently how it starts. So then it gets worse. But it's not, again, it's not the end of the world. Timekeeping is fine, all of this stuff. But it's still, of course, under warranty. It's a pre-owned watch, but it's still under warranty. So I have to get it fixed. AP already knows about it. Obviously has to be protected, the original owner, because it's not, we have to make sure that nothing is. So this means that this watch is being, by the previous owner, given to AP. They already know. They already ordered the pieces, the replacement pieces that they need, the clutch and all of the stuff, and probably new hands, whatever they do when they actually open the watch. And then it takes about 4 weeks.
So, which caliber is this? 4404?
4404.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is yesterday I was watching some YouTube videos, as I do, and I'm trying to remember what watch it was. It was also a chronograph. What the hell was it? I don't remember what it was, but they were saying that, look at the back of this, and it had something like some ridiculous number of parts, right?
Yeah.
600 parts. So I was sitting there, with my Speedmaster, and I'm like, I wonder how many parts the Speedmaster has, the 1861 movement. So it's like around 220 parts, right? Which is a regular, manual one. The other one was automatic, so it's going to need more for that. Yours, dear sir, has 433 components. So you're saying this isn't,
433, yes, correct.
Yeah, which is also, it's not the 600 of this, whatever watch I was watching, but
so
a lot of parts.
100% agree. And you know what? When you look at this and you think, wow, Audemars Piguet, right? Such a prestigious brand. They haven't done, everybody who still has the old F. Piguet movement, which is done by Frédéric Piguet, which is owned by Blancpain. So it's a Swatch Group movement, basically. But they still make the movements for Audemars Piguet for this, for some of the chronographs. These guys have made a 32 millimeter diameter movement, a chronograph flyback, right, with date, all fine. 3 days power reserve, 70 hours, 28,800 vibrations, but the thickness is 8 millimeters for that movement. That is a chunky monkey. That is
because that's once again
big.
8 millimeters uncased. So as soon as you put that in the case, you're at like 15
hands
if not
on
more.
top, and the sapphire crystal and all of this stuff going on top. So you are not being able to make a very, very thin watch with this movement. It's just impossible, right? It's like the first versions of the Tudors, right, when they had pretty big movements, tall movements. So the watches were a bit chunky, right? They were a bit tall. Same here. And you think a company like Audemars Piguet should be able to make this.
But a company like Audemars Piguet hasn't been making movements for very, very, many of their watches for very long. So if you look back, the previous generation Royal Oak had a JLC movement in it, right?
Correct. Yes.
So they just now, like a couple of years ago, said, we're going to switch to in-house. Yeah. And the movement they did use, as I told you, was very, very small. So on the back of it, you would see like this 41 millimeter watch, and you turn it over, and it's got like a 20 millimeter movement in it that's half the size of the watch itself.
That looks always very, very... I don't like it. I really don't like when you have a transparent case back and the movement is tiny in the middle of a big metal chunk. So it's just... Then I rather don't want to see it.
We can argue this two ways. If you looked at, we just talked about that Glacute, the Senator 70s, 60s, that I had. And that one, they made the glass go edge to edge, much like a Longa would, right? But the movement did not go edge to edge. So they displayed a metal spacer.
Yeah.
In addition to even the crown stem was on display, which I don't know if that's much better.
That's true. But I'm happy with the size of the movement because it's really for a 42 millimeter watch.
That's fills it up.
Looks very impressive. I really enjoy that. So I also really love the watch. It's one of the things that when you put it on your wrist, and it's so
I remember what I was
wear.
watching and which watch I was talking about. It just came to me. It was the Tentograph. The Grand Seiko Tentograph.
Yes.
And apparently the reason this movement was so complex to make was because Grand Seiko, apparently when you press the start stop on a chronograph, you lose amplitude from your movement itself.
Okay.
So if depending on how it's built, excuse me. So if I'm, by the way, wearing my Speedmaster, which is very fitting because we're talking about chronographs apparently today, which we didn't know we were going to talk about, but now here we are talking about.
Yeah.
So my chronograph here, the 1861 movement from Omega, or I should say the 1861, which was then a couple iterations of a 321 movement, which was a Lemania movement. But nonetheless, this one is an integrated chronograph, meaning the timing function and the chronograph function are all mishmashed together, right? As opposed to your watch, which is what do you call it? A modular movement. You have a timekeeping module and a chronograph module on top of the timekeeping module. So technically,
but I don't.
Is yours not?
No, because it's in-house. It's a complete.
Oh, they redid it. So the previous generation was the modular one.
Correct.
Okay.
That was a modular movement.
Nonetheless, the benefit of the modular movements is when you start the chronograph, you don't lose this amplitude. So essentially your timing stays extremely accurate. On the other hand, if it's all in one, when you start the chronograph, Grand Seiko was saying, you will lose a tiny bit of timing, which then would mean that this tentograph is no longer within their specifications.
But I
so
thought
they made it modular.
Yeah.
But they said not in the traditional sense, which
correct.
They didn't really go into much detail about
because
that.
It also depends on the clutch that you use and all of the stuff, which if you have friction losses and all of these things. As Tim also always says, you can, depending on if you have a vertical clutch and all of the stuff and a column wheel, whatever. I think the column wheel is not important, but the vertical clutch is, so you can run the chronograph without any additional wear and tear.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a vertical clutch, you can run it. If you have column wheel,
I think column wheel. Yeah, usually the gold standard is to have a column wheel and the vertical clutch together. That's like the current best practice. Let's say it this way. And then you can definitely run the chronograph also without affecting your power reserve much because it's not much.
Yeah. Effort. So and then of course this tentograph had this. It was high beat. So that's the first thing,
right.
The higher the beat, the higher the accuracy. And it had this new dual impulse escapement thingy-mabob.
Which some people call half a coaxial.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a similar technology to coaxial, but not entirely. So that's, of course, their own IP, intellectual property. But it's supposedly, reducing friction and all of the stuff. And it's, yeah.
But the point is, it's not a flyback chronograph like yours, yet it has roughly the same number of components as yours. Double the components of a regular chronograph.
Yeah.
Which is...
So, yeah, it's surprising. But of course, you don't have a flyback in yours. You don't have a date
a rotor
in yours.
Or a date.
You don't have did I say flyback here? Flyback, automatic winding, date. I mean, all of this...
So it removes parts, yes. But the tentograph also doesn't have these things. It has the automatic, but I don't even think it has a date.
But I do think that, yes, having 400 parts,
components,
433 parts is a bit excessive. But on the other hand, we always forget that creating a chronograph is one of the hardest complications to design in a movement.
Yeah.
So
it's still one of the hardest. So when we look at grand complications, excuse me. When we look at grand complications, a chronograph is not considered a grand complication. However, it is still one of the hardest complications for a watchmaker to manufacture.
To manufacture a movement, a chronograph movement. Yeah, it's
What are the grand complications again? There's 3 of them.
No, there's
quiz time.
It's a minute repeater. Mm-hmm. Then you have a moon phase, perpetual calendar. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know, some
2.
else. Is it Grand Sonnerie, Petit Sonnerie, or is it the same?
We call that as a minute repeater, I think. Okay. Yeah. The last one.
Date?
Yes, a date. A date window. No.
Pew.
We've already said the perpetual calendar.
True.
Moon phase. So that's already been said. That's a grand complication. The last one would be a...
I don't know.
I think it's a split chronograph.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Rattrapante.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, look, I wish I had a grand complication. You know this video from like 3 years ago after, when it was still COVID, I remember that time, when we went after...
Oh, sorry. No. It wasn't that. I apologize. It is the tourbillon.
Tourbillon.
Tourbillon, we forgot about that one.
When we went after Dubai Watch Week and saw the Grand Seiko, the Creedor spring drive minute repeater. Man, that was amazing. But I think they only made like 6 pieces worldwide, and we were able to play around with one. Man, what a nice sounding machine that was. So
I was absent that day.
Are you happy? Or are you even?
Am I happy? No, I'm not ever.
You're
like
always
just
frustrated.
Always
yes.
miserable. Yeah. So why would you ask this?
If you sit there with a minute repeater and you listen to the gongs and all of this stuff, does that make you happy? Are you a minute repeater happiness person?
No. I would say I would pull the freaking lever and it would do his ding dong, and my first thought would be like, when is this gonna break? So I would literally be worried about it the entire time. So
ding,
out of these grand complications, if I am to get one, 100% I wouldn't get a tourbillon because it's stupid.
But it looks lovely.
Don't care. I wouldn't get the sonnery or the minute repeater because I would be afraid of it. I would entertain getting a perpetual calendar. A few have come my way in terms of, I had the opportunity to buy a few. And I passed on all of them. And in retrospect, there are a few that I think I should have got. Mm-hmm. One of them was a white gold JLC in a 37 millimeter case.
Okay.
And this was at Timepiece 360. And I remember this was way back when. And Khalid and I were standing there. And I picked up the watch. And Khalid's like, this is stainless steel. And I pick it up. I'm like, no, it's not. And I look at the price tag. And they wanted like $33K for it. And I'm like, I'll buy it. And then he looked at it. And he's like, oh, wait, sorry. So at the end, and it sat there for ages and no one wanted it. And it was so cool. It was a silver dial, white gold GLC, I think 37, 38 millimeters. Then at the same time, they also had one other one, which was like a 36 millimeter perpetual calendar in stainless with a black dial. And that one was like 50K. And that one was also super cool. But I mean, they're just, of course, both of them with moon phase. They're just such beautiful watches. Mm-hmm. And my adversity to date, right? So I despise date windows, but they don't have date windows.
Yeah.
They just have a subdial.
See, when you talk about tourbillons, I was just thinking, I think I have somewhat the feeling that at some stage I will have a tourbillon in my collection, at least to experience it for a while. I'm not so sure.
What are you going to experience? There's nothing to experience.
But when let me show you one thing. See, this is where I think certain things are just completely crazy. Look at this guy. This is a Zenith DeFi El Primero double tourbillon that can do 1/100th of a second chronograph. With a tourbillon, it has a tiny tourbillon for the chronograph and a normal tourbillon for the high beat tourbillon. So this is where I think, if we are talking about tourbillons, I think Zenith killed it, because who else can even remotely compete with a high beat tourbillon for normal timekeeping with 36,000 vibrations, and one with 50 hertz, 100th of a second, 50 hertz. I mean, this is like absolutely 1/100th of a second. So 2 tourbillons in one watch and 100th of a second, 360,000 vibrations per hour with the chronograph part. As a tourbillon, because usually when you see tourbillon movements, most of them are reduced as well in frequency, like 18,000 vibrations or 21,600 vibrations per hour. Rarely they have 28,800, and they have very often as well not the highest power reserve. And here the El Primero just, and nobody talks about it. Really.
But here's the thing, and I have to say this now. Remember we talked last week about brands doing stuff for their customers and just like letting them experience watches, and we're talking about how Rolex doesn't let you even touch the watches. And I told you how I went with my daughter to the Zenith boutique, and they gave her those memory cards, and I came home and we played the memory game with her, and all it made me do was want to buy a Zenith. And I'm thinking, like, I'm guessing right now, I'm sitting here, I love the Zenith Chronomaster Shadow Revival, the all blacked out one. Or all grayed out one, I should say. It doesn't have a date, which is one of the few times the El Primero doesn't have a date. And
my DeFi 21 also didn't have a date.
Yeah, and I love the ladder bracelet, the bead blasted titanium gray ladder bracelet. I think is super cool.
I'm glad you like it, because I really
no one likes it, and I just think it's so friggin' cool. So I've been saying this, and my wife has said she loves it too. I said, like, I think this is going to be my next watch, my next big purchase, right?
Yeah,
is going to be that Zenith. But as of now, I have nothing to sell. So that means I would have to sell something to buy it. And I don't know if I would. And I don't know what I would sell
at the moment as well.
I'm also not a freaking chronograph guy. Like, I have one chronograph, which is my Speedy. And even then I'm a dive watch guy. I always use dive bezels, like, all the time.
Yeah, which are for normal measuring the time or just the normal timing of minute things, right?
How many ramen noodles my thing has measured is infinite.
Yes, or just these things like you need to just remember how long you drove from here to there or something. Just silly things. The chronograph is always something where I always forget.
Exactly. I did it yesterday. And then I was looking, I was like, shit, this thing's been running for like 9 hours.
Yeah, and you were like, I wanted to measure something, but what was it?
Exactly. And this is the thing, is I look at the bezel's not lined up, and immediately I know I'm timing something. So this is the difference.
Yeah. But I must say, recently somebody said to me, why is it by design that you only have one chronograph in your collection at a time? And
you only have one?
I was like, what? I only have one chronograph in my collection. So I needed to open my watch box and be like, how does interesting that other people
and then the other funny thing was you sold a chronograph to buy another chronograph.
Yeah, exactly. And I had so many chronographs at some stage in my collection, and now I thought, like, I really only have one left, which is
I've never had more than one at a time.
No, I had the IWC Portofino chronograph. I had the Porsche design chronograph. I had my Black Bay chronograph. I had then, of course, what else did I have? Yeah, the Zenith chronograph. I had just a few always in the collection.
I have never owned another chronograph.
Then, of course, the Daytona.
Ever. Yeah, and this was Speedy has been the only chronograph I've ever owned. And I kind of like that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, but then I thought, I could
How many
have
dive
another.
watches have I had in and out?
Yeah, well, that's
A million. Yeah. This is the funny thing is why? But I also feel that the chronographs are going to be more expensive to service if something breaks. There's
Yes,
a lot of,
that's true.
finickiness with them. I have a friend whose father just passed away, and he inherited his Breitling Navitimer. And so he showed me, said, do we need to take it for service? I looked at it, I wound it up. The winding was beautiful in it. It was probably from like around 1990, if I'm guessing. So I wound it up. The winding was perfect. I started the chronograph, stopped it, reset it. Everything was running perfect. The only issue is the seconds hand for the chronograph is at like 7 seconds.
It doesn't reset. Yeah, it's
Fully,
a
exactly.
simple fix for a watch.
So that's the only issue that it had. But the fact is, I mean, there's this chronograph and has been running and unserviced, of course, probably for the better part of 35 years.
Yeah, I think then service is needed just because if you cross the 20 years or 30 years, you can be sure that there's certain parts that are completely unlubricated by that time, right? It's just evaporated or it's just gone, the lubrication, which means you're wearing down the metal, right? And that means eventually you will have a more expensive repair because you need to replace some pinions, some wheels and all of this stuff. So I guess it's time to do that. If it's a robust movement that is well designed, then you probably, depending on if you let it be serviced by the company, they sometimes have this fixed fee for a service. Even if they need to replace a few parts, they don't charge you for it. The worn down parts, right? But sometimes they do. So you have to just be careful. Yeah. I think 30 years, it's time to get a normal service.
So this is, I'm trying to figure out what kind of watch it was.
So I wanted to tell you also what very nice service experience I had recently. So
sure,
two things I wanted to talk to you about. First, if we talked about the sub, right? Last episode or so about the sub 16610 that I like so much. So I realized that the bracelet has, of course, micro adjust. But I think only 3 because it has this big diver extension, which nobody will ever use, right? So I decided that I take this off.
Yes.
And I put in an aftermarket, this comfort extension that other Rolex watches have, where you can just click it out and have like half a centimeter or something. And I put that in. So in the same clasp, I just put that in and remove the diver extension. So now I have a better, an easier way to just click it out and have actually a bit more space if I need to, especially now in the summer when it's hot, very hot. So it's quite nice when my wrist swells a bit. So I was doing that. Then I also decided to get a Jubilee bracelet for it.
You said that.
Yeah, which is extremely comfortable.
From Forstner.
Forstner, yes, from Forstner. Or the old JB guys who actually supplied bracelets to Rolex. So both of them are really, really lovely. And and then I saw that there's so much of modding you can do with these older Submariners, right? I mean, modding as in there are little things you can buy for them. You can just change the clasp if you like. If you really want to have slide glide lock clasp, you can buy one aftermarket. It's of course without the Rolex logo, but you could do that and you can put it on your original bracelet, or there's so many things you can do. All the rubber straps that are available for this watch, really, really nice. Did you know that the rubber straps for the Moon Swatch actually fit the Submariner?
I did not know, but
perfectly.
But here's the thing: is the sub. This is another thing that we hate about modern Rolexes is the fact that they have brought the spring bar so close to the case, and they have made that case so sharp that any strap you put on it gets chewed through. But with yours, this older one, you're able to do whatever the hell you want.
Oh yeah,
right?
and it looks really nice with straps. The only thing is that Rolex, even at that time, didn't really do is finish the case where the bracelet attaches to. So that means that you have a beautifully polished case, but when you take the bracelet off, it's a bit ugly there.
Yeah, but it's still to this day they do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing new, but it's still something where you think, come on, guys.
But now on my Explorer, I have that stupid hole in there, right? So if you put it on NATO strap, you're looking at this gigantic hole for no reason, which doesn't make much sense to be there. But nonetheless,
and so that I found quite nice to have this ability to just get aftermarket parts that make your life easier and your comfort level higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a really good watch to do this with. I mean, the problem is it's still an expensive watch, so you don't want to screw it up. But back in the day,
But I mean, listen, but because of my brother-in-law having had some faults with the watch, I had to in any case take it apart. So I took the bezel off. It's the first time I took a bezel off a Rolex. Mm-hmm. I did it before on a Seiko. I had a Seiko once that was a Seiko Sumo, right?
Yeah.
And it was so hard to turn the bezel that you really just like your fingers would start to really get
hurt
on it. So I decided then as well there to take the bezel off, gave it a tiny bit of what's this called? This
WD-40?
No, the proper ones. These the lubrication when you use not carbon. What is that?
Silicon,
yes.
Silicon lubricant,
silicon grease on it. And after that, it was buttery smooth and super nice to turn. Not too easy, but just the way it should be, right? Yeah, so that's one of the things. And I had to take it off because it was bent, right? So the bezel was bent. And so I was able to massage it slowly on a small piece of wood. And I was wiggling it for probably half an hour, 45 minutes, until my fingers started to hurt a lot. But I made it nearly perfectly straight. And then also the when it's attached, it actually ratchets. I mean, the clicking is now working fine. So I'm happy with that now. So it's much better.
I told you, ever since I took I spent a 4 days at the beach in the Pelagos.
Right.
That bezel's never been the same. You still know, like it gets stuck sometimes because that means there's still some sand particles. And apparently, if you look at the Reddit or any of the forums, the Pelagos has this issue, and they said it's not from the sand at the beach. It's from the sand that's floating in the water. These fine microparticles. And apparently the Pelagos bezel is manufactured at such high tolerances
I can imagine
that these tiny little sand particles are gunking up the bezel. So I was thinking about taking it off as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Once you took it off, you take it off, you think, wow, the construction underneath is, I mean, at least with the Rolex, is so simple.
It is, but the problem is, mine's the ceramic bezel, and if I break that, it's like $700 US.
Yeah, that's so
true. I'm like, because you can accidentally bend it and you bend it back, or worst case scenario, you buy a new bezel for $50.
Yeah.
And you could buy a green bezel, a blue bezel, whatever color bezel you like for yours, and it's super easy. Ceramic, not much.
That was exactly my idea. Say, look, green bezel costs $50.
No. But blue bezel.
But the problem is when you put it on, and then an expert will say, yeah, but you have the tiny Lume plots.
Yes, exactly.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I had to look at it, and I said,
you didn't know this?
No, I didn't know this. So the
first time that Rolex used a maxi dial was in the Kermit, the original Kermit. So if you, and this is what I know this from Adrian Barker, on his channel, he had bought a Kermit way back when, and he put the black bezel on.
Yeah.
And he said it's this perfect Submariner because it has the maxi plots, but it's still just a regular Submariner because it had the black. So for you, I would say don't do green because obviously green is going to be fake, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But you could do blue.
I could do blue.
And nobody's going to say, and I've seen this done before, but it was in a modern one. Somebody got the blue ceramic bezel from the white gold Submariner. Just the insert. And how they got this, how they sourced it, who knows? But, they said it was an authentic Rolex part. and then they popped it out of the black regular no date sub and put the blue one on there, and it looked so cool.
Yeah. I have a friend who has done this to his GMT master, his Pepsi, has put the blue dial in.
Yeah, so that's a little because for those that know, blue dial meant it was white gold.
Yes, exactly.
So that's kind of.
But you know what? I mean, the thing is, it looks nice, but it's only if you know that the blue dial is actually supposed to be white gold. But
so I wouldn't do that because again, that's lying. That's lying and cheating, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
But all is original. Original dial, original watch.
Still, I don't care. You're telling people, look at my white gold, Pepsi.
You tell it, but who do you tell that? This is very
This is the same people. He is the same guy that takes his 335i and puts an M3 badge on the back. Right? This is the same person. And the only people that know this are going to be the car nerds that can tell it apart.
Yes, exactly.
And I have been, here in the UAE, this is very, very common.
Yes,
mostly on Mercedes. Yeah. They slap an AMG badge on anything. And I'm like, that good old AMG, whatever,
C200.
A118 or whatever it was, or whatever the hell, the C200. Which never existed, right? And the thing is, a lot of the C classes they've done this on, but it's gotten
because now they also did the AMG badges when you had the AMG package, right? Which you could buy.
Yes,
it was
but
just
the AMG package did not put the AMG badge on the back.
Only on the side,
the wheels on the side. It was the same thing with BMW. When you get the M Sport, you'd get an M badge on the fender.
Correct.
But
yes,
you couldn't get it in the back.
Yeah.
But these people, of course, don't know this because they don't know their, ass from their elbow. So they're putting it on there and, with their Ling Long tires, and they pretend like they have an S65 AMG with a V12 bi-turbo, and it's a freaking, base
and
model.
One exhaust pipe.
No, and that's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now, the one that is a telltale always wide body, and the E63s, the C63s were all wide bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see a narrow body Benz, no fender, bolstering, 100% it's not an AMG.
Yeah, I had a BMW 650i, which is not an M.
No,
but inside the cabin, in the middle of the dashboard. The only previous owner had put a big M badge, and also on the engine cover, the plastic engine cover, was an M badge. And I was looking at this saying, first of all, these are two very weird places to put an M badge, which BMW probably would never do, but maybe they did. But this car was not an M. It has no. But maybe
it had the M Sport pack.
It had nothing. I had the original invoice with all of the specifications. The specifications are like a 5-page document where you have every little thing.
And nothing M was
nothing
mentioned.
M. It didn't even have sport seats. It had the normal comfort seats, which was one of the things that annoyed me the entire time that I owned the car, even though I loved the car in general. Because that engine is just such a peach. The 367 horsepower, 4.8 naturally aspirated Vanos V8. Oh, it came the closest to the American sounding V8s in a German car, besides all of these G classes and all of the stuff that have really nice sounding engines. But that was a really nice V8. Anyhow, but I know people have these M badges. I tried to remove it, but it wasn't. So I decided I just ignore it and tell everybody, no, it's not an M.
Yeah.
If somebody says, oh, it's an M, no, it's not.
So I had a girlfriend that had I think it was a 1999 Z3. And this one had the M Sport pack. And I think it was a 2.8 V6 or inline 6. My apologies.
Yes,
inline 6.
That's a lovely one. Yeah.
It is a big deal. Big difference.
For
and
BMW
that one,
people, yes.
And that one had this M Sport. And the only badging you would get, there's two of them.
Yeah.
One on the gear shifter, because it was manual, and right on the top it had M. And the other one was on the steering wheel at the bottom. That was it. There's no M badges on the outside. And this was an actual M from factory. As in M Sport, but not actually. It was not the M. It was I think. When did they start coming out? It was 2000 or something. They came out with the clown shoe, which was the actual M variant.
Yes.
Which was an insane car, by the way. The M. The M Coupe and the M Roadster. They didn't even give it a designation. It was just the M.
I sort of like the idea of having a two-door car with a hatchback, and it just did look weird, but it was more practical, I guess.
And they gave it the engine, the inline six from the M3, which was insanely powerful for this tiny little car. It was so cool.
Yeah, but it's also a car that came out and everybody hated it, and then eventually over time people started loving it. So
I think it just became, and because remember it had the wide body, so it was so wide from the rear because it had like insanely wide wheels as well. But it was just so cool. I think that collectors grew accustomed to it. I was looking at them up, by the way, if there's any for sale in UAE, because they're extremely rare.
Yeah,
and there is one M clown shoe for sale. I think it was 100,000 dirhams, and it had like 200,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah.
So it was driven properly.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I mean, look, you can always, what is it called? Refinish? No, not refinish. What is it?
Roll back the odometer is what you're
No, not that. Not that. Yeah, exactly. Roll it back and then it has only 100,000 on it.
Exactly.
No, I mean, when you say that you not refinish the engine, if you rebuild, yes, if you rebuild it, obviously everything can be rebuilt, right? And everything can be done, driven another 100,000 kilometers if you like. But it might cost quite a lot of money, right, to do that, and time as well.
Time and parts and everything. And I don't think this is a car you're really going to be finding a lot of parts for. Anyway, this is a watch podcast.
Oh, so you're right.
Forgotten.
Oh, we forgot about it.
So back to let's talk about some random stuff. A new Tudor has been released.
What?
Did you see it?
Oh, the Land Dweller Tudor.
Yes. The 28 millimeter Tudor Royal with a diamond bezel in two-tone.
Yeah, I mean
it's ugly as sin.
Yes, my first instinct would be to say, ooh, but let's see it on a wrist.
Let's not. I don't need to see it on anything. I can tell you without a doubt it is ugly. Okay. There's another new watch.
No way.
That came out from Grand Seiko. Have you seen this one?
No.
It's a new...
What happened? What happened?
It came out a couple weeks ago. It is... I don't know what it's called. I have forgotten. It's one of their new Evolution lines. Evolution 9 lines, whatever it is. It is the 37 millimeter spring drive UFA, ultra fine accuracy.
Accuracy or adjustment?
Accuracy. Because they had VFA back in the day, which was very fine accuracy. And this is now ultra fine.
I think it was adjustment at the time, and now they renamed it into
maybe
accuracy.
But would you like to know? Remember, once again, ladies and germs, the chronometer specification is, what is it? +4, -6, or -4 +6?
-4 +6, yeah.
And then superlative chronometer for Rolex is -2 +2, and master chronometer is 0 to 4.
Yep.
Would you like to know what this is per day? 0.05 seconds a day.
0.05.
0.005, yes. So 0.05.
But wait, it's a spring drive.
It is spring drive.
But that is already 0.5.
No, 0.05.
Oh, 0.05. Oh,
10 times.
Oh, now I get it. Yeah,
more accurate than the previous spring drive, which is nuts.
So I owned 2 spring drive watches in my watch collecting history, and I must say that both of them exceeded the half a second a day. They were more precise than that. It was pretty insane. They would not go more than 5 seconds a month off at the maximum. No, not even. I think 3 seconds a month maximum deviation I had. So which is about, it's crazy. It's just insane. I mean, it should be 15 seconds per month maximum deviation with these spring drive watches, but it was way less than that. So I was very impressed. Yeah.
20 seconds
per year.
a year. A year
So
on a mechanical ish
No, it's a mechanical.
watch.
It's a mechanical watch. The only thing that's not mechanical is the escapement that breaks the spring from actually touching the. No, actually, for the breaks not in breaking, but in breaking. Sorry, I said with an A. Breaking. The wheel basically, just so that the hands move in the right speed. It doesn't actually touch the entire movement because it's all magnetic, right? So that's absolutely insane, actually. And yeah, that is regulated by a small IC.
Hence why I said mechanical
It is
ish.
still, I would call, because the hands are entirely driven by the spring, and there's mechanical driven. It's the regulating organ that is, but still, it's a fantastic technology. Also, the thing is that this technology, this IC, is not driven by a battery, right? It produces the energy it needs to break itself down, which is insane when you think about it.
If I'm not mistaken, you would need 100,000 Grand Seikos spring drives to power one light bulb.
No, you wouldn't even. If everybody in the United States had one, you could just light one light bulb.
One light bulb.
So it's like
I think it was
300 million people. It's
was it? I thought it was 100,000, but
it's so
something ridiculous.
Little energy. That's why it took them 21 years to actually get it to market, because they knew it would work, but the technology they had was not yet as energy efficient that they needed for the IC, for the integrated circuit, to make it work. They had a prototype that worked already, like way before the time, but it would only work for like 5 hours.
Exactly. So that was the issue.
And
now we're getting to 5 days. So now essentially with this new movement, once again, it's in a 37 millimeter watch, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So Grand Seiko seems to be sizing down. It has micro adjust on the bracelet for those that want that. But they have managed to go from 5 days on the base movement to now only 3 days with this ultra fine.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
So, but it's still, once again, 3 days is still a lot for something that is...
What they have done probably in that IC, in this is this tiny, super efficient little circuit that is driven by that little wheel that is turning, and the dynamo basically that they have done the whole, how do you call it? The, what I want to say, the energy efficiency and the thermocompensation that I didn't have before. Because this is now a properly super thermocompensated movement. I think even the one before might have done it, but this is now even better. This kind of accuracy is just insanity. It's amazing. I love it. I think spring drive I don't have a spring drive at the moment. I have a GMT quartz, the 9F quartz movement with a GMT function, and I have the high beat GMT. So I have now a mechanical Grand Seiko GMT, and I have this quartz GMT. I need a spring drive GMT.
A spring drive, yeah. So I actually don't really have this issue. I have 2 Grand Seikos. Both are mechanical. One is automatic, one is manual. And I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't have this need or urge to get a spring drive.
I love it.
I don't somehow associate with it. So not my thing. Quartz I could get behind. I think quartz I would be more keen to get a quartz than I would be to get a
spring drive has something in I mean the silence.
And
it's just there's not
gliding,
even ticking or anything. It's just right. It's just something. It just really shows the time as fleeting as it is in reality, because our time doesn't tick. It's just like floats.
Exactly. It is.
It's lovely.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Now, to wrap up, unless you have something else we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Titan.
What do you have?
We haven't spoken on the. Did we speak on the podcast about Titan?
No, you and I spoke about this. Off the podcast.
Did exactly. Let me share
the
that.
Indian watch company Titan, which Hodinkee did an expose on.
Yes.
Recently.
Yeah.
And this watch company in India manufactures how many watches, Ralf, per year?
15
million.
Which makes it, I think, the 3rd largest watch producer in the world.
In the world.
There's not many, which means basically there's Casio and Citizen. Who else?
Exactly. That's going to be it.
That's, I guess. So they have,
Casio and Seiko. Isn't Seiko bigger than Citizen?
Yeah, Casio. I don't know. Casio, Seiko, Citizen. Yeah, but
Biggest
basically, it must be somewhere in that range,
makers.
right? And of course, there was a manufacturer in India that I still know, HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools. That was the previously government-controlled watch manufacturer. They licensed movement from Citizen, and then produced watches in India for the Indian market when India was still very isolated, or from the rest of the international markets. And Titan also came up from, as a part of the Tata Group, together with I think the Tamil Nadu government. They created Titan, and that's 40 years ago now, in 1984. The Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. And so they started, of course, with quartz watches. That was the thing that was in vogue, basically, because nobody wanted the old, in brackets, mechanical movements from HMT that they had before. Titan was new, funky, modern designs. I have a few HMT watches still, and I know when I went to India first, when that was Titan was new and the new thing, and I said I want an HMT, and the people looking at me, why would you want an HMT? They're like, that's the grandfather watch. That's like the watch that nobody wants to buy anymore. That's why they went bankrupt, right? And I said, because these are old school watches. I want one. So I got them for 600 rupees or 800 rupees. I bought two watches, which is like not even $10, I think at the time. And it's they still work. I still have, for my father-in-law, the old watch. My wife has it. It's more than 40 years old and it still works fine. So it's just incredible how cool they are. And Titan is, of course, the new kid on the block. HMT got revived recently, but the Tata Group, of course, one of the biggest conglomerates in India as well. A massive company with fantastic ethics and a lot of different, their own Jaguar Land Rover, they own the Taj Hotel Group, they own so many other industries. Of course, this whole Tata Steel in the world, they own a lot. So they have this watch company, and now more and more the Indian watch collectors as well, and the general society moves towards mechanical watches and moves to luxury watches. And of course, as a mass producer or a big company with a lot of market share in India, they don't want to stick behind. So they are also starting to make more and more mechanical movements. They have bought for a while, they have owned for a while Favre-Loeber. You remember that brand?
Yeah.
But then they sold it again, and now they're doing it in-house. So they're basically producing 50 to 60,000 watches every day. And
this is a very strange, by the way. I don't know why Hodinkee wrote this article. Like, it's interesting for sure, but this is so out of left field. And then they're talking about how the brand also has eyewear and this and that. I'm wondering if this was a paid for advertisement.
But the problem is Hodinkee is owned by Watches of Switzerland,
which doesn't sell this. But still,
I don't know if they're selling in India, because India has also, Tata has their own, of course, boutiques and all of this stuff.
Well, Watches of Switzerland sells globally, so theoretically
they will open in India soon. So maybe they're cooperating.
But it seems there's something a little bit shady on here, because once again, if it was just about the watches, I'd understand. But then they're talking about how they have a clothing line as well, and this and that.
It's a whole back in background expose. But now they have also created the first Indian. Is it the first? I think it's first in-house tourbillon, at least for Titan. And this is also strikingly decorated by
By the way, the factory looks awesome, for their headquarters.
Yeah. So they created this tourbillon movement in-house. They produced, I think, 15 of them, or 6 or 5, I don't know. But this is also decorated with a beautiful picture of the palace in Jaipur with an elephant in front of it. And this is done by a miniature artist who paints these by hand. So that's why they're also very few.
So how small is the artist?
Not so small. And what I like a lot is that the minute hand has as a counterbalance, a big a loop that goes around the dial to just magnify a bit the micro artist's painting of the dial
and the movement.
And of course, it goes every hour across the tourbillon as well, and shows the tourbillon. And I think it shows that now even India can homegrown haute horloge timepieces for their Indian clients, which is amazing because obviously they have a lot of Swiss watches being sold in India. They're very
mostly. Apparently, Rado is extremely popular in India.
There's a couple of brands that are very, very famous. Rado is one of them. Yeah, very, very popular in India.
Just look at the people they have that Rado has as their ambassadors.
Yeah,
a lot of like Bollywood stars and things like this.
But also Zenith had a lot of Indian cricketers and others as sponsors. Yeah, and some other watches, I think. Who else did it? I think Hublot had a few. So yeah, there's a couple of watches that are quite popular. Of course, Rolex as well is quite popular in India. They're also very status conscious, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of these very, very good collectors. And we all saw Mark Zuckerberg getting hooked and addicted to watches after he attended an Indian wedding.
Yes.
Can you believe
Was
that?
it the wedding that was here in Dubai?
No, that was the Ambani wedding, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that, but he was there as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. The Ambani wedding was, I don't know
where he got hooked on watches or no?
Yeah, because he was sharing with everybody, with Mr. Ambani himself, the Reliance Group and stuff. When they showed his watches, that's when Zuckerberg probably thought, that's a nice hobby.
Now, okay, I think I want to get back to, as you said, the number of watches they make.
Yeah, okay. Finish the watch, the Indian Titan Indian tourbillon watch. Yeah. Sorry.
So how many watches do they make?
15
million per year. Mm-hmm. In comparison, Rolex makes 1 million roughly per year.
Yeah.
Citizen. Seiko does not mention anything.
Okay.
So we don't know how big Seiko is. But Citizen, through their manufacturer, Europa Star is their factory.
Yeah.
We know that they make 100 million movements a year.
Movements, yeah, okay.
Movements.
Okay,
so they sell these movements through Myota, but obviously these are also going into, and this is just, so they're going into obviously their own as well as into others. So we don't know how many watches they specifically make. All we know is that Europa Star published 100 million movements per year.
Yeah, that's
the only number we know. We don't know anything about these Japanese manufacturers. So they say Seiko and Citizen are the largest two. And then Casio comes in third and Orient in fourth. And we don't know much about this. We know that G-Shock, Casio sells just G-Shock around 8 million a year.
Wow. That's a lot.
So that's just their G-Shock line, not counting any of their other hundreds of lines that they have.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, Titan, again, makes 120,000 mechanical watches a year. So from the 15 million watches they produce, only 120,000 are mechanical, actually. So it's pretty insane. But it's growing, obviously. It's growing. So
there you have it.
Yeah, there you have it. What a nice finish.
I was going to mention something else, but I forgot.
You wanted to say something.
Yeah. No, it wasn't about the Indians. It was about something else, and it wasn't about the Japanese. I don't remember. Nonetheless, I think it's a fitting finish for our episode today.
Go India, fantastic. And I think we will see a lot coming from Titan and others now being inspired by that. Do you know the Bangalore watch company? They do also some really nice stuff.
No, the only Indian watch company I knew was HMT.
Bangalore Watch Company. That's it's two. It's a husband and wife company that they started. I think they worked in Singapore as in finance or in IT and tech, and then they decided, you know what, we want to create an Indian watch company, and they just did. And it's very military inspired. You know they do.
I have nothing nice to say.
No, I mean this is because you see one of the watches, right? But they have some interesting stuff there. They have some interesting watches. Obviously, there's
this is screaming. What's it called for me? What's the
Bremont?
Bremont, exactly.
Yes.
How'd you know? That's what I was going to say.
Because it looks like it.
It's very Bremont, right?
That's a bit of it. Yeah, because there's military inspiration there.
Celebration of Indian cricket.
Yeah. Cricket and of course then the military stuff here.
Indian aviation.
Yeah. And since obviously my father-in-law was an Air Commodore in the Indian Air Force, some of these early watches they had, the Mach line, they had some parts of the MiG-21s that were decommissioned. Put in the watches, some of the steel plates and stuff. So yeah, it was quite nice.
It's all right, and
yeah, I mean it's another.
How much
Indian
are we
company.
talking? Rupees, 110,000 rupees, which is what?
It depends. I mean, if you're going,
what is 110,000? 100,000 rupees, INR to AED. We're talking 4,000. That's a lot. 4,000 dirhams roughly starting price.
I mean, it's a Swiss movement. It's very well made. So these are good watches. They have been reviewed and around the world, and they're good. They're good. But the problem is you need to like, of course, the design, right? And I mean, that's always the challenge. I have one that I like because it has a bit of I think it's is it meteorite?
Yeah, it's meteorite. Yeah.
So I just love meteorite.
Is it Indian meteorite?
Do meteorites have nationalities?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing where they crashed.
Yeah, okay.
Does it say which meteorite right there? The Munolulusta.
No, but
it says right here, highlights of the 9mm disc made of the Munolulusta meteorite.
And it was recovered in
Google
Finland.
that.
Yeah, here.
Finland, there it is.
Finland and Sweden. So it's a Scandinavian.
I told you they have nationalities.
It's a Scandinavian meteorite then.
So anyway, okay, I remembered what I was going to say.
Okay.
I watched a video about the watch collection of what was that guy whose name I have forgotten that we both don't like very much.
We don't.
The bald guy, Kevin O'Leary, is that his name?
Oh yeah, Kevin O'Leary. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so and I just want to we finish here today saying this guy is an absolute tool. Like, okay, he's absolutely filthy rich and he's rolling in the dough. But he has zero taste. The stuff that he called classy in his watch collection. This was with I think it was with the 1918 company, Tim Mosso. What was it with Tim? It might have been Teddy Baldessar or Tim Mosso. I'm not sure which one it was with. But the stuff this guy says, he picks up a Tudor, the flamingo blue chronograph for it was retails at 20,000 dirhams. And he's like, this is an insanely affordable and attainable piece. And just how out of touch with reality he is just unbelievable. And the fact that he's so, how do I say it? He's so enthusiastically stupid. So he's not that he's trying to hide it. He's just so out there. And he's just talking about these watches. And I'm like, these are so ugly. And he's like, this is an extremely classy piece. And it's fire engine red.
Yeah, the thing is that he puts his red straps on every watch he wears.
Yeah, he said this.
Yeah, his continuity and all of his stuff. And it's just he's full of it. And the problem is
so full of it.
He doesn't realize, I think, that
how stupid he looks.
And also how little he knows really about the watchmaking to a certain extent.
It's just so bad. And then he said that he now wears 2 watches at all times, and he switches watches 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So he wears 9 or 6 watches per day, every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a must.
And then it's a must. And he says on one wrist, he always wears something extremely ridiculously expensive, while on the other wrist, he wears something attainable, is what he says.
So something that's only a few $1,000s.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then he goes and he says such ridiculous things that he was told on what's the show he was on? This Shark Tank. That he was told that he couldn't wear his Richard Mille because everybody would be looking at the watch and not paying attention to the show. And I'm like, in what world would anyone, first and foremost, it's Shark Tank. No one's paying attention to Shark Tank to begin with. It's just something that plays in the background. And then secondly, nobody's looking at your wrist. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Yes, especially if you ask random people on the street, do you know Richard Mille? And I guarantee you that even people who follow Formula One or follow any of those things that Richard Mille actually sponsors, they would still not know what this company makes, right? They might have seen the name,
although
maybe.
Richard Mille, Monsieur Richard Mille, has his name on the most number of F1 cars.
Yeah. But I'm not saying they're doing a great job at marketing as well, but this.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, imagine he has his name on six F1 cars.
But saying like this, people would only look at his watch. It's not a Rolex, which has over 100 years created, quite a brand awareness. It's not.
No.
And even that, I mean, people wouldn't really recognize a Rolex necessarily. Normal people on the road.
For those of you that are interested, I recommend you look at, just type in Kevin O'Leary watch collection into YouTube, see what comes up. And it's a funny watch, not a watch, but it's funny to watch, and you will get a few giggles out of it.
I actually liked in the beginning his cooperation with Teddy Baldassar, because I didn't know much about him, right? But then the more you know about him as a person,
the less you want to know about him.
Yeah, you think like, ooh. maybe not.
There you go.
And Teddy is still such a nice person.
Teddy's a great guy.
So that's why I
think he's a very nice
don't
guy.
understand this affiliation. But of course, it helped him. It helped
money
him as well. Yeah.
I don't know if he invested in his store, right? He has Teddy.
Maybe he did, yeah.
So maybe that's the reason he's always there, because he has both Teddy.com as well as Teddy itself. So
yeah.
Who knows? But on that bombshell, it is time to end.
End of episode rant.
Yes. We bid you good day, and we'll
see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.